What's going on, guys? It's Will. So if you're a quantum enthusiast or a stock market daredevil, you're going to love this video. If you're ready to ditch the classical computing and check out some of the quantum computing, today we're going to be splitting the stock market atoms down into 6 quantum companies, 3 in software, 3 in hardware. And one of these that I think is going to be really valuable, we'll share at the beginning. And you're going to want to watch this video before you hit buy on any of these as we get into this week. Now, guys, if you want to see how it is YOLOing your life savings into Qubit stocks, no, I'm just kidding, but live at market open, you can smash that like button and check the second link down below for Stockmates. And we share our portfolio, all of our entries and exits live at market open. So if you'd like to be there, it's that second link down below. Let's get into the first stock today is going to be IONQ. So IONQ, I have a business card from one of the people at IONQ. We got to meet the marketing and commercial, I want to say commercial director of the company when we were at CES. We got to see what tech they're building and their reaction to the announcements in the quantum space that were basically saying they're 10, 20 years away. And so now you can see they went from $6 a share earlier this year up to $54 a share. From $54, they went down to 27 bucks before recovering to $40 a share. So this crash that we had here as a result of Jensen's comments brought it down to $25. And $25 means that this recovery actually got it. If it was an overreaction, it looks like it's actually back into its trend from that crash. So we start to see it get back into trend, and it's basically holding the exact same pattern that it was in before the crash. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's starting to keep its direction and continue up. You might say, why would you buy this company? Well, IONQ is, you go to their website, we'll go there, you'll see some of their partnerships. They changed their website recently to say that quantum is now. So they say quantum computing has the potential to change the world and we're leading the way. They talk about better battery materials. They talk about improved drug discovery, and then they are partnered with NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. You got Lockheed Martin, so they're in space exploration, and they're also with GE there, and quantum machine learning, and even direct carbon sequestration. So that's actually more of a weather-related quantum computing. So you might say, why are their quantum computers so good? What makes their quantum computers better than others? Well, one thing they gave an example on was that they are able to take 30 million data points down to 8 options when trying to improve the efficiency of the lithium ion battery. They got down to 8 options. From one of those 8 options, they're able to improve the lithium ion battery by 70% efficiency. So that's the type of thing that quantum computers are able to do. They could take years and years and years of research and then drop them down from all those data points down to a few options that could potentially be solutions. And then they take those options, run them through AI to get the direction of where they want to research in those 8 options, and then actually came up with a lot of answers. And one of them, and within 6 months, was that solution for 70% improved efficiency. So you can see that they're working on a lot of different industries, but they're partnered with some of these big companies. If you go over to Amazon, you can tap into this quantum computer through the cloud here. So that's something you see Rigetti there, which we'll get into, IONQ, and you can use the cloud, not GPUs, but actually use the cloud through QPUs, not GPUs, QPUs. So that's interesting. People are starting to use these quantum computers through the cloud. Now, this company, if you look at some of what they're doing in the quantum industry, they're one of the fastest growing companies. And if we go to IONQ's financials, you can see that they have a market cap of just under $9 billion. They, financial wise, they are 102% improved revenue year over year. So they're growing quickly. Their revenue is 12 million, but their net income negative 50 million. So not even really making it positive, but looking good on that near term, or on the longer term. The revenue is looking good, but the EPS, earnings per share, is still not making it, but they're cutting it with the revenue on each quarter. So we'll see how this next earnings looks as they report. They're going to be reporting pretty soon, so we'll be keeping you guys updated. We got some things coming out in Stockmate later with different earnings targets for all these companies. Later today, that will be out. So I'm excited to jump into that. As far as technicals go, it's holding this level above that rising support, which is indication. You can see right here. Let's map out this trend that's starting to develop here. See that? Boom, boom, boom. That looks like it's holding that level. It did break a little bit below this moving average, and it looks like it's going down, as you can see right there. So one thing to consider is it probably has a greater chance of going down more before continuing up. So right now, it could potentially be a falling knife in the short term. There's a lot of volatility expected. Most likely be looking to find an entry after it maybe validates more of a bottom. There's also a support level around $38 that could be potentially a better entry. Outside of this rising support, we've also seen the stock consolidate from left to right, as you can see right here, pretty clearly. You could even drop that there. And so when you have the support there and the resistance here, like this, I guess, yeah, like that, then you can kind of see that maybe it was a little overextended in this consolidation. Maybe it even sells down to $35, but we'll have to see how it reacts on Monday. But that's kind of how it looks on the near term. A lot of great stuff on the long term. Volatility definitely expected here, but we'll see what trades we can find here just in the week. I said here a lot. The next stock that we have on our list here is Rigetti stock. So getting into hardware more. The thing about all the quantum computing stocks is you're going to find really similar patterns. See this previous resistance. It's consolidating from left to right as well, Rigetti stock. And it's more in a buy territory. It's closer to that support on the consolidation. It's not as high. So that's good indication. But again, same deal. It's kind of falling. So without confirmation that it is bouncing or it's recovering, we don't see it as a potential buy right away. The RSI and the MACD do look like buys. As you can see, they're down here in the buy range. But again, it has probably a greater chance of falling down to here than it does reversing at this moment, just based on the past few hours and past few days, how it ended the day. But we'll see how it does at market open as well. The technical side of Rigetti is that it was up from $1 a share up to $21 back in early January. Then there's Jensen's comments. You can see that shot the market down. A little bit of an overreaction. You can see it sold all the way down to what was about $5.50. And then you can see this trend outside of maybe some of that overreaction where it was bouncing. It has this support, and it looks like it's there. And so it does seem like it's right there. If it's going to continue up, it's kind of in that range on the support level, this rising support, where if it's going to trend and continue its growth, then that's a good reason. Now, I want to take a minute before we keep going on Rigetti. And again, you can see Rigetti here on Amazon. We can go to their website and we'll jump in. Or let's actually jump in really quick and then we'll get to it. But I want to talk about the overall market of quantum. I want to talk about how there's a new bill that's like $2.6 billion that might get passed here. And then also with the Stargate infrastructure, how that could impact quantum. But before we get into that, let's just jump through the financials really quick. Rigetti financials are not as negative net income, but they're proportionally a little bit worse than IONQ. You can see their revenue still down, EPS is down. They beat both in 2023, but they didn't beat any of them in 2024. A lot of these companies were optimistic for the upcoming earnings. So we'll see how that happens this next earnings. As of now, net income was up 33% year over year, but still negative. Revenue was down 23%. And that's some of the volatility we're seeing across the industry. The other thing to note about Rigetti compared to like IONQ, they're still only $3 billion market cap, while IONQ is up to almost 10 billion. So maybe if the market balances out or they're similar in the way of their market share, we could see them potentially increase just on that. But that's more speculative and based on seeing equilibrium in the markets, which we know is not true. A lot of times it's 20% of the companies or 5% of the companies that are actually going to capitalize on 80% or 95% of the market. So we don't know that, but they are one of the big players. They got 134 employees. They're in Berkeley, California. They are making revenue. And then when you go to their website, you can see they're selling their quantum computers. So not only can you use them through the cloud on Google, people are using these quantum computers over the internet, but you can also see here you can buy their quantum computer. And so when you go here, you got partnerships with NASA, you got Q Control, MIT Research Laboratory, AWS, Microsoft, Rigetti, and they got to remove this Zapata. I believe this company's not in business anymore. But you can see some of their articles, some of the news. They have different contracts. They got a lot of updates on their hardware, and you could go to their YouTube even and see some developments in their technology as well. You can even go and see different parts of the quantum computer here and be able to see what that's like. So if you want to stay up to date with Rigetti stock, one of the things to do is to go and make sure that you have them added to your watch list. Make sure that you're holding a close eye on them because they move extremely quickly. And when you get into this bill and how it could affect them, let's jump into that. Oh, and actually, price targets, Rigetti price targets. If it's hyper bullish right now, looks like a really good time that it would bounce here. And if it does bounce, the next kind of level we'd be looking at would potentially be from here to there. So that would be kind of the trend. Potentially a 40 to 50% increase if it keeps the same trajectory as it had. Let's see if you zoom out, you can see the same trajectory that it was rising at before it crashed there. Then that type of recovery would be, more realistically between 30 and 50%. And so that's the hyper bullish. If we're just kind of a healthy bullish, I think seeing us jump to that 1280 range or 1480 range would be healthy in the near term, but still on its way down. So we'll see if there's any opportunities on the near term. So let's take a look at that bill really quick. It's called the Quantum Initiative Reauthorization Act. And in 2018, a bill was signed that was 1.3 billion for quantum computing. And now you can see there's a bill for 2.7 billion. So they're basically doubled what they're investing. Some of the people that are supporting this bill from a company perspective is IONQ. You got Microsoft, University of Washington. They're endorsing the bill. And then some of the U.S. leadership here that's going through with this bill and working on it. You got Senator Durbin, okay, says quantum technology is our future. And as Illinois continues to lead the world in quantum research and innovation, it's critical that our federal research agencies are fully funded. This is interesting. It's 2.7 billion, and then China is expected to invest between 5 and 15 billion in quantum. So that's more than what you would see on the surface as the U.S. investing. However, when you look at the Stargate's bill, this is a $500 billion Stargate bill. It's a $500 billion contract. And so $500 billion, where's the bill? 500, let's see, do I need to search this? Okay, there's a website, or is there a movie? $500 billion investment in artificial intelligence. The joint venture is between OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, and MGX. I could be in a speculative position to say this, but I would imagine if we're trying to optimize AI and we're putting a lot of money towards that, this guy right here, Masayoshi Son, SoftBank CEO, is someone that definitely has a lot of he talks about quantum computing quite often. And so I think if he's a piece of that, we could search what he says here, quantum computing. You could see, yeah, you got Quantinium team. So SoftBank and Quantinium. So SoftBank and Quantinium team on hybrid quantum classical computing. So you can see that if SoftBank and Quantinium, I actually have a card right here by my desk from one of the guys that is leading Quantinium. He's got the PhD. I think he was their chief marketing officer, but also he works closely with the team. I gotta look at who it was, but he was there. I met him at CES, and you can see SoftBank and Quantinium are deep in quantum computing. Also, majority owned by Honeywell, which they're in quantum computing as well. And so, $500 billion invested towards AI. It's most likely not going to be just like AI. You can see there's mention of IONQ here as well. And so that's going to be it. And then you got so the point is, it's not just like AI and that's it. It's also, I'm imagining that 500 billion is going to go towards a lot of quantum as well. So you got to keep that in mind. So that's overall market. We went through IONQ, went through Rigetti, and I'd like to go through the softwares as well. There was one more hardware, and that's D-Wave. D-Wave, same deal with the technicals. Don't need to go into it too much. They were at $1. They went to $11. The price target was right now. You can see they're nearing that support. They're kind of falling, so we'd be monitoring them. Overall, long term looks bullish. Near term could see sell down maybe $5.20. And then if it's bouncing that consolidation up to $6.50 could make sense. Or if it makes higher highs to previous highs, that would be over 100% increase. And so you see that there with D-Wave. And D-Wave, they have a Qubits conference over in Scottsdale, Arizona. We'll be going to next month. If you guys would like, comment down below if you would like to go to that event as well. I believe it's free to go. However, I actually got to look at this. I got to talk with my team because we were in the process of booking this. And potentially we'll have an event as well there, our own private event with the YouTube channel that you guys can come to. And that's happening. They're sharing some of their breakthroughs, some of what's happening in their company. And so this is a company that is building, they're doing quantum support for many different industries. And this is the CEO that really didn't like those comments by Jensen. Basically had a response to Jensen after those comments. They were saying, we're using commercial right now and we're in it. The thing about D-Wave is their financials look really, honestly, not too good. They have $1 million in this quarter, $1 million in revenue. Before they had $2 million in revenue, $2 million in revenue. The revenue is very low, and you can see net profit margins negative 1,200%, right? So year over year, they were going down. They're missing their earnings per share, missing their revenue. And so the financials, they just haven't really looked good. They have runway, they have net in cash, but the revenue just keeps it's staying low. But one of the things about this company is they're building their own cloud. Okay, so they have their own cloud where you can use their quantum computers through their website. So D-Wave, if you go and check out their stock, there's a lot of hype articles, but you can kind of see what partnerships they have. So they say they were realizing it today. They educate people on how quantum works. They are having better response times from their quantum computers within a minute of submitting. They have a response time within a minute on their website. So that's really fast. And if you go to solutions, you can see they're in workforce, production, scheduling, logistics. They're using it for a lot of different industries. And they have quite a few partners. And I think I got to look at some of the partners again. I think we could search some of the partners, but let's see, they're working with drug discovery over in Japan, which is interesting because it's a tobacco company. They had a successful at-market equity offering of 150 million. And then they got some other, looks like software companies to have quantum computing distribution to the public sector. They were at that Needham Growth Conference that Rigetti was there as well. And they have these at-market offerings. There's another one for 175 million. So the point is they have a lot of the same innovations, and the only difference between them is that they're having less downtime, which means responses when people use their quantum computers are coming faster, and they have more plugging into businesses right now. Their revenue is lower than most, but they are using the quantum compute. Their quantum computers are being used more than most other companies. And that's really good to see. And so that's why I like to cover it, because when you look at some of the reactions in the market to this company and how it plays out, there's a lot of similarities with it with the rest of the market as well. And I think to go to that conference in Scottsdale is going to be quite interesting, and I look forward to that. We'll see more of the tech, more of what makes sense or doesn't, and we could get some clarity around the company as well. So those are the three hardware companies that are innovative massively and changing the way that quantum computing works. And not only are they innovating, but they are right in front of us, right here, able to invest in. And that's amazing. We're seeing some of the biggest growth. I think we're in a golden age where AI and quantum computing and some of this tech is, we're right here. We're able to see it. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they play into the next month. We'll be definitely monitoring it closely. The next three that we have are going to be very simple. Have them double written down, and one of them is going to be, make sure I have it. One of them is going to be, I know we got IBM, we got NVIDIA. First one is Microsoft. So this is Microsoft setup here. Go to Microsoft, you see they've been consolidating a lot. They're in a consolidation that looks really consistent. And this consolidation has been happening all the way back here to around the same time last year. And they're consolidating. They're at the same price that they were basically a year ago. And you can see some of this level here. And so you start to see them bounce, quite interesting. I think that's about a 10% increase that they could potentially see. Of course, the 5-year on Microsoft is going to look a lot more bullish. See that happen. Now, if we go to why they are here in the software side, it's because of Microsoft Azure. Azure Quantum is where basically developers are absolutely going to have access to all these quantum computers. You can see IonQ is there. You can see Microsoft Pascal. You can see Quantinuum. And I got to go meet an executive from Microsoft in Las Vegas who was the specialist in quantum and talking about it. And he was saying that if you're interested in quantum, they're one of the main providers to link the ability for you to test out their computers over the internet here. And so you can see Rigetti stock, again, IonQ and others, and being able to use that. They also have this, it says, important, you'll no longer be able to use Azure Quantum credits for June 1st to 2025. If you have a remaining balance, be sure to redeem them before this date. So they recently did a sale where you could use these and get $500 in free credits. Now they're saying those credits will expire by a certain time. You can actually still do it. You can claim $500 in credits. So they will give you $500 to go and test out some of these quantum computers. Of course, you got to have big problems with massive amounts of data points and and big databases to be able to test these quantum computers, or a big problem basically. But hey, they're giving you the ability to use them for free to get started, and so that's something that they're running. And basically, what we're looking for is similar to IBM. IBM said they made $1 billion in revenue from their quantum space, their quantum their Qiskit that they have. They made $1 billion, um, and and so when we look at the increase in revenue, we're going to pay attention closely to Microsoft earnings here. I think they just had their earnings. We could actually jump in and see what that's like. How is their quantum usage this last quarter? So we'll take a look. But yeah, so that's why they're there. And again, their stock, it's kind of at the support. That's why I added it to this list. I just like it. I actually got in. You can see here, not really any change since I got in, but anticipating a swing here on Microsoft. Now, the second one that we'll be looking at here is IBM. So IBM is one of the leaders in quantum, and you can see they're kind of at this all-time high that they've ever been at with their stock. They're at $265 a share. That this is unprecedented territory. They look very overextended. The reason we have them down here on number 5, basically the second software stock, is because they're writing a lot of the software that's allowing people to use these quantum computers. Think of a quantum computer as something that is like, let's say that you have like really, really awesome tree, like a pomegranate tree. You know how you have a pomegranate tree? This is something I used to do when I used to work at a Christmas tree farm every single year in December. And it was right in pomegranate season. And then when I was younger, there was a great farm. I used to go, I would sometimes be working there. I would just be listening to headphones, be listening to books and stuff while I worked there. It's nice, get to work with families and all that. And there was this pomegranate tree that you couldn't just shake the tree and get all the fruit. You have to have like one of these pickers that's like on a very long stick that you like reach up, and then it like pulls it, and you got to pull really hard to like take them off the branch. And so the same thing is true with quantum. Like you can have like a really awesome amount of like, let's say fruit, like a really great quantum computer that can give you all this amazing stuff. But if you don't have the right software written in, the right tool to get the fruit from it, to get the answers out of it, then you're not going to be able to get the harvest. Basically, you're not going to be able to use it to its ability or get the most out of it. And so it's the same thing with how ChatGPT is getting competed with by DeepSeek AI, because the Chinese were like, oh, you're not going to ship us all the hardware and computing hardware to do it? Okay, we'll just become really, really good at the software better so that we don't even need the hardware. And that's what they do, right? And so same thing here. They focus on the software side a lot. They do the hardware as well, but they focus on the software side a lot. So Qiskit is the software for useful quantum computing. If you click through, you'd see they got tools and services. So they got runtime, you can go serverless, AI tools for quantum. They got add-ons, this whole ecosystem of working with quantum computers. They got a lot of great education there as well. And then they also, get you into some of the most advanced quantum hardware in the world. And you can see all these different quantum, and you can see the qubits, how many qubits are on each quantum processor, and you can go through it. Isn't that amazing? So they're enabling that. And that's why, they made an extra $1 billion. To see that much revenue in quantum, when we went to CES, right now the quantum industry is around 100 billion. When we went to CES, they're expecting and saying that we're going to see this industry grow to $1 to $3 trillion in the next few years. I mean, that's like from 100 billion to 1 to 3 trillion. That's like 10 to 30 times its current size. That's a massive increase in valuations. And so this is part of the reason why they're one of the backbones. They work with almost every company in the quantum space as well. And so the last one that we have in software is going to be NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA It's funny. I was just talking with this guy on Instagram. He sent me a message on Instagram, and he was saying he was working in construction and that he's investing in Nvidia. And he showed me his position, and it made me think of when I used to work in construction. I used to work in solar, and I was installing solar. I by accident became a project manager that I wasn't qualified to be, and started like going deep in that. And I remember I was like so engrossed in that I was seeing all this tech, and I was like, oh, I want to invest in Nvidia. This is 2021, and I started doing $20 a day into Nvidia from my paycheck. And I remember at that time, I remember that I would just was seeing it go down and down and down, and I was like, oh, it's just not going up, but like I'll just keep it there. My average purchase price was $20 a share. I don't know what Nvidia's at now. It's at $128. So just in 4 years, it's gone up by, base almost 10 times, not 10 times, but like 8 times as much. And so they're a company that's growing on the backbone of robotics, on the backbone of their data centers, and part of their quantum. If you go to solutions, it's called CUDA, KUDA, and it's related to their quantum. They have an event here in March, and so I just searched it, and there we go, CUDA X. So basically, yeah, they have this event coming up in March, and to put it simply, they let GPUs kind of flirt with the qubits. If GPUs are they're that's their thing, right? They do GPUs, but they're focusing now a little bit on QPUs, and this is kind of Nvidia's side hustle, and quantum is here. So I would say that it's a big tech play. They're invested in almost every single one of the companies. Like they're invested in Rigetti big time, and so you can see that they're building out their quantum similar to how IBM has it. IBM's more established in quantum, but nevertheless, you see Nvidia, they got their hand in most of these companies. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so when we look at Nvidia on the chart, simply put, they recently sold off big time from $153 a share down to $112. And then now they're starting to recover. They recovered back to $129. I would imagine they're going to hit their all-time high again. It's going to happen most likely here in the near future. That'd be a 20% increase from here. Pretty solid bet. Large cap company just bounced on their 200-day moving average and starting to recover. Still looking a little oversold even on the RSI and MACD on the longer time frame. So longer time frame looks good. Shorter plays are fun as well. And if we're looking to trade it, we do it at market open. All these stocks we trade most likely at market open, and we also trade space and AI tech. If you guys would like to be there, watch me trade live, see our entries and our exits, and get access to a community of stockmates that are all traders and investors, it's that second link down below. There's a sale there if you want to check it out, but I encourage you to simply take a look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Hopefully I earned your thumbs up. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.